Good day to all our beloved FICCO members and welcome to our 67th Blended Annual General Assembly live from the venue and to all our valued members who are currently watching via Facebook, Zoom, and YouTube. We are all gathered once again to witness the most awaited FICCO's General Assembly with the theme FICCO Pursues Service Excellence through members' untiring commitment and loyalty. To start up the assembly, may I request everyone to all rise as we all sing with our hearts and ask God's guidance for our General Assembly to be followed by singing our national anthem.
Our gracious God, whom we call Abba, Father, Allah, Magbabaya, Bathala, and many other names, we acknowledge the greatness and kindness you have faithfully shown us. We thank you for entrusting to us, members and leaders, this honor of serving you and your people through the cooperative. We pray for you to touch our hearts, to be filled with compassion, to serve joyfully and selflessly in the spirit of volunteerism. Grant us the humility and wisdom to learn from each other and break any wall that may try to divide us as we work to carry out our mission together in love, patience, and unity. Transform and bless the cooperative movement to be your instrument for nation building. We offer to you our cooperative endeavors through our continuing collective efforts to glorify your name and ask you to bless the rest of our day and our activities. To you alone, our one God, we offer our praises and prayers. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang binirang, tuyag ka ng mag-ibig, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tulog sa simoy at sa langit ang pagaw, ay hinatang tulang awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang patawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang may mag-iindig. Lumalang araw ng waragin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya ng kantay mga amin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
May I request everybody to please raise your right hand, and all together we will recite the cooperative pledge.
The Cooperative Pledge.
I am,
As a Filipino, I am and I believe in the cooperative. Alone I am weak, but with others I am strong. So I commit myself to work to cooperate for all to be prosperous. Harmony, industry I will value. Cooperative affairs I will attend. Responsibilities I will assume. The cooperative philosophy I will live. One vision, one belief, one feeling. In cooperativism, my life I pledge. So help me God.
You may now take your seat. Thank you, Director Ferrer. Before we proceed to the General Assembly proper, may I request our BOD Secretary, Ms. Esther D. Mambayas, to read to us the House rules for this General Assembly.
Good morning, everyone, Mr. Chair, respective members of the board, guests, and our members, allow me to read to you the House rules in the conduct of today's General Assembly. House Rule number 1. The conduct of the General Assembly shall be in accordance with the Robert Rules of Order, as well as the FICCO House rules. The same rules shall apply to those who are physically present and those attending via video conferencing or live streaming and other authorized mode. Number 2, all FICCO members shall attend via online or otherwise and participate in the parliamentary deliberation and vote on all matters brought during the General Assembly through referendum during the period approved by the Cooperative Development Authority. Violation of this House rule shall be a ground for the termination of her membership in that branch, as well as the ground for refusal of her membership in any other branch. Number 3, all FICCO members attending the General Assembly shall attentively listen, observe proper decorum, hear upon the reports of the board of directors, officers, and committees. Violation of this House rule shall be a ground for the expulsion of such member from the Assembly or video conferencing or live streaming. Number 4, any FICCO member who would like to speak, comment, or air his or her idea on issues being deliberated upon during the Assembly shall first seek recognition from the presiding officer by raising his or her right hand or by sending a comment in the comment section or chat in the chat box, as the case may be, and wait until he or she is recognized and is allowed to speak. She will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to make her comment, air his or her idea. The same speaker is allowed a maximum of 2 minutes for follow-up or a rejoinder. The presiding officer can order the putting off of the microphone being used by the speaker who is violating this rule. The same shall also apply to those attending video conferencing or other authorized mode. 5, a member who will unduly disturb the proceedings and show disrespect to the presiding officer and fellow members shall be escorted out of the assembly hall or shall be removed from the video conferencing or live streaming and shall be refused entry thereto. Number 6, all FICCO members of a particular branch shall participate and vote during the annual assembly, General Assembly, only at the branch where he or she is a member in good standing and not in any other branch where he or she likes to participate. Violation of this House rule is a ground for the termination of her membership in that branch, as well as the ground for refusal of any other branches. Number 7, the amended Articles of Cooperation of FICCO strictly prohibits proxy voting. FICCO members shall fill in their votes personally, not only on the proposed General Assembly resolution, but also in their votes for election of FICCO officers. Violation of this House rule is a ground for the termination of her membership in that branch, as well as a ground for refusal of her membership in any other branches. Number 8, the proponent of those who signed the resolution approved by the Board of Directors is allowed to speak no more than 5 minutes in support of the said resolution in the continuing General Assembly of Offices, even if he or she comes from another branch or business center. Thank you.
Thank you, Mami Ting. The success of the cooperative does not solely lie on its employees and personnel serving the members and the community, but also on the guidance and support from the leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the FICCO's respective members of the board, the overall chairperson of different committees, and the executive management and guests. To start with, Chairman of the Board, Elmo C. Bautista, representing the following offices: Maine, Hagna, Cebu, Tagbilaran, Lapu-Lapu, and Mandawi. Vice Chairperson Rosario B. Ferrer, representing the following offices: Carmen, Talakag, Upul, Alubihid, and Naawan. Director Verona B. Tagayuna, representing the following offices: Lapasan, Pugon, Chano, Makati, and Quezon City. Director Walma Jane I. Mulet, representing the following offices: Iligan, Aguinaldo, Maranding, Ozamis, Pagadian, Dipolog, and Oroquieta. Director Luis Antonio Chito S. Yap, representing the following offices: Puerto, Malaybalay, Manolo, Damilag, Villanueva, Isolon, and Aglayan. Director Susan P. Ibanez, representing the following offices: Balingasag, Salay, Balingwan, Camiguin, Hinguog, Medina, and Claveria. Director Mary Jane A. Cacho, representing the following offices: Butuan, Emcalo, Langihan, Bayugan, Surigao, Tandag, Kabadbaran, and San Francisco. Director Leilani T. Combate, representing the following offices: Valencia, Maramag, Kalilangan, Wao, and Quezon Bukidnon. Director Lorna L. Brown, representing the following offices: Davao, Mintal, Tagum, Digos, and Toril. Mr. Nicholas H. Veranilla, our BOD Treasurer. Ms. Esther D. Mambayas, our BOD Secretary. Joining us today, we have our Audit Overall Chairperson, Mr. Roberto S. Tanpongko. We also have Ms. Anselma Inot, our Credit Overall Chairperson, Ms. Evangeline Bustamante, our Mediation and Conciliation Chairperson, and Mr. Pablo Sabaldana, our Ethics Overall Chairperson. Now let's go to our executive management and our respective guests. Mr. Edgardo A. Micayabas, our Chief Executive Officer. Attorney Noel Bacal, our Head of the Legal Department. Attorney Aida May del Castillo, our Legal Counsel. Mr. Isagani Daba, our Consultant. Mr. Ernesto Labadan Jr., Regional Manager for Cluster 1. Mr. Johnson M. Tan III, Regional Manager for Cluster 2. Mr. Roger Palak, Regional Manager for Cluster 3. Mr. Ernesto Obsina, Regional Manager for Cluster 4. Mr. Raniel Tagalo, Regional Manager for Cluster 5. Mr. Erwin Cabaneros, Regional Manager for Cluster 6. I would like to inform everyone that the conduct of today's General Assembly is the usual procedure that we have been doing for the past years. However, there are parts of this assembly with instructions given only to be performed through referendum of the GA proposed resolutions and to cast the votes of the different committees to the respective branch. I will now turn over the floor to our chairperson, Elmo C. Bautista, to preside the General Assembly proper.
Thank you very much, Madam Jang. Good morning, Pilipinas. Magandang umaga sa Luzon. Mayong buntag sa Visayas ug sa Mindanao. Ang atong abali blended man, we have a blended General Assembly. So we will also use blended communication. Bali English, Tagalog ug Bisaya. No? So, the 67th Annual General Assembly with the theme FICCO Pursues Service Excellence through members' untiring commitment and loyalty is now called to order. Since this is a continuing blended Annual General Assembly, we will, may I call on our secretary to tell us how many participants are joining through Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook. Yeah, as well as those present in our venue. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chair, and to all members of the board and respective members of and the opening program of FICCO 67th General Assembly at 8:10 in the morning with 80 on-site participants, 143 Zoom participants, Facebook and YouTube viewers, 3,427 participants, or a total of 3,650 as of 8:10 in the morning.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Since the agenda and other materials, other booklets and our annual report have been distributed in the branches before this General Assembly. If you have additions also to the agenda, we have to approve this agenda, we will just include this in the other matters if you have additions to the agenda. Now, may I hear now a motion to approve the agenda? Any motion? Yes, sir. Please identify for the record.
Rinaldo Sabiliano from Chano Branch.
Okay. So you're making a motion to approve the agenda, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So there's now a motion by Mr. Sabiliano of FICCO Tiano Branch. Is there any second to the motion? Severally seconded. Any discussions? Objections? Hearing none, the motion is now carried. Now let's go to the presentation of candidates.
May we call on FICCO's Legal Counsel Attorney Ida May F. Del Castillo for the announcement regarding the conduct of our election for the year 2022 till 2023.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Jang. Good morning, fellow FICCO members. As your ELECOM coordinator, I present to you the candidates for this year's election. For Board of Directors, Cluster 1, we have Mr. Elmo C. Bautista, current chairman of the Board of Directors. He has no opposing candidate. For Cluster 2, we have Ms. Rosario B. Ferrer, current member of the Board of Directors, no opposing candidate. For Cluster 3, we have Ms. Verona B. Tagayuna, also a current member of the board. Also, she has no opposing candidate. For Cluster 4, we have two candidates. We have Mr. Luis Antonio B. Yap, a businessman by profession. He has been a FICCO member for at least 24 years and has served as member of the board since 2009. And he is also currently a member of the Board of Directors. We also have Mr. Ronel E. Alamania, a teacher by profession and has been a FICCO member for 4 years. For Cluster 7, we have Ms. Mary Jane A. Cacho, likewise a current member of the board, and she has no opposing candidate. For the election, audit, and credit committees, on the other hand, the names of the candidates are posted at the respective FICCO branches. The official ballots are likewise available at the respective FICCO branches. Members should cast their votes personally at their respective branch by dropping the official ballot in the official ballot boxes. Also, for the information of the members, partial counting of votes prior to the close of the election period is allowed, so long as the unofficial results are kept confidential. Winners will then be proclaimed before the end of the General Assembly held on March 31, 2022. Thank you very much for your cooperation and good morning once again.
Thank you very much, Madam
Attorney Aida.
Okay. Madam Attorney. Madam Del Castillo, di ay nakunenumduman. Sorry. Now, the next item in our agenda is the reading and approval of the minutes of the 2021 General Assembly, or that 66th General Assembly. Since these minutes of the previous or the 66th Annual General Assembly have been distributed in the branches prior to this, any corrections or matters arising from the minutes of each branch shall be submitted to the branches. Kaya di na to pwede karon. Lain-lain mataog minutes every branch. So this shall be acted upon on the last day, on the March 31st. Kaya nato maaktingan kanang mga corrections o mga matters arising. Okay. At this juncture, the chair would relinquish the table to our vice chair, for that yours truly will render the consolidated report of the board of directors and the committees. Madam.
Director Elmo C. Bautista will now present the consolidated report of the Board of Directors, the Education Committee, Credit Committee for 2021.
Okay, thank you. So again, once again, good morning, everyone. The consolidated report of the directors of the Board of Directors, Education Committee, Credit Committee for the year 2021. Dear fellow members of FICCO, our theme for 2022, FICCO pursues service excellence amidst the credit crisis through members' untiring commitment and loyalty, highlights our co-op's resilience on the unwavering support of its members in navigating the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. In return, our co-op adopted policies to ease up the burden of members in paying their loans, considering that many businesses had been closed and loss of jobs that affected the majority of our fellow men. The mutual help value of cooperatives allowed our co-op and many of its members as well as not only to survive but to thrive in this crisis. Now allow me to give some highlights on the membership growth and financial highlights for the year 2021. Membership at the end of 2021 stood at 384,263 strong members from 369,090 in the year 2020, or a 4.1% increase, while the laboratory cooperative membership grew to 29,441 from 26,531, which is a testimony of FICCO's resilience in the pandemic. Sa ubos-ubos, makita natin ang graph. Next is the capital and deposits. Common and preferred shares now total to 6.84 billion, posting a 7% growth from 6.39 billion at the end of 2020. All deposit types posted a combined growth total of 522.9 million. Capital and deposits growth funded 971.49 million pesos, and that's almost 80% of the 1.221 billion asset growth in 2021. On the asset side, FICCO's total assets at the end of 2021 stood at 16.903 billion, up 7.8% from the year ago, or 15.682 billion. Major components of these assets are current loans at 9.598 billion, up 371.16 million versus previous or that year total. Cash at 2.463 billion, up 253.52 million pesos. Investment at 2.209 billion, up 308.4 million. And restricted funds at 1.660 billion, up 145.93 million, which are all earning assets. Our net surplus, dividend, and patronage refund. Despite the pandemic, FICCO managed to post a double-digit growth in its net surplus from 641.61 million in 2020 to 718.26 million for this year at year 2021. As a result, dividend and patronage refunds are slightly up at 6.2 and 12.4% from 6 and 12% for the year 2020 respectively. Our gross revenue posted modest growth at 6.8% from 1.472 billion in 2020 up to 1.572 billion in year 2021. Income from credit operations registered a respective growth of 11.7% from 1.117 billion to 1.248 billion. This is courtesy to the 4% growth in loan portfolio. Salamat sa atong mga membro. While fee-based income increased by 9% from 127.34 million to 138.82 million. But these were tempered by the lower income from deposits and investments from 147.3 million compared to 190.99 million earned a year ago in 2020. As for the operating expenses, we have increased our operating expenses by 2.8%. This is due mainly to the following. A, provision for bad debts is 27.9% lower at 124.33 million from 172.51 million in the year 2020. Letter B, other expenses decreased by 19.6% from 44.93 million to 36.11 million. However, meetings and assembly expenses, personnel cost, occupancy and maintenance cost, and interest expenses all posted rates of increases higher than the revenue growth. These implications to the bottom line are glossed over by the huge reduction in the loan loss provision. The next, allow me to continue with the accomplishments for the year 2021. Number one is FICCO Rice Processing Center or FRPC expanded its line in Caraga region, Bukidnon, and Davao, where FICCO offices are also situated. That provides quality rice from different varieties from our local farmers or products of our local farmers. Number two, FICCO renewed its CTE with a 5-year validity from the BIR. Yet still, members are still requested to submit their TINs, tax identification numbers for the tax exemption to continue. Constructed 7-story mixed-use administration and commercial building office at Baminta Boulevard, Carmen, Cagayan de Oro. And it's already 93%. Siguro labaw-labaw na karon, no? At the end of 2021. And to be ready for use by July of this year, hopefully during our anniversary. No? Founding anniversary sa FICCO is on July. So we will, siguro, the building will be ready by that time. We have also ongoing construction of the FICCO office in Kalilangan, Bukidnon. Number 4, we signed a memorandum of agreement last January 28, 2021 with the Agricultural Credit Policy Council or ACPC, an agency under the Department of Agriculture or DA that covers the Agri-Negosyo Program or ANYU and the Capital Access for Young Agripreneurs or KAYA. This is to provide a zero-interest loan for the small farmers and fishers and registered micro and small agri-fishery enterprises or MESES. Number 5, we upgraded business centers in Medina, Median Rabang Nabutang Liha, Misamis Oriental, and Wao in Lanao del Sur. In addition, we opened up new business centers in Mangagoy, Bislig City, Surigao del Sur, with a total of 57 branches and 42 business centers as of the year 2021. Number 6, we have also launched in partnership with TESDA and Coca-Cola the digital Sari-Sari Store Training and Access to Resources or iStar program. And we have now a total of 2,299 completers. These are men and women who are micro entrepreneurs. Number 7, FICCO provided relief goods to the victims of Typhoon Odette in Surigao City and Surigao del Norte, Dinagat Island, Siargao, Bohol, and Cebu. FICCO partnered with DSWD and the LGU of Cagayan de Oro through its Community Improvement Division or CID and the City Social Welfare Development CSWD to enlist in its membership rule a total of 227 beneficiaries of Poor Peace who may now avail of the Restart Bridge Loan Program. Number 9, a series of training of trainers have been conducted with 35 new IDCOM volunteers. An additional 53 personnel were also hired in the year 2021. We have also acquired lots where FICCO can have its buildings in Bukidnon, that is in Quezon, Kibawe, and Damilag, as well as Caraga, Surigao City. Our plans for the year 2022. May atong mga plano. Number 1, new business centers will be opened, hopefully, in the following areas. Cagayan de Oro, Misamis Oriental, Agusan del Norte, Cebu Province, Cotabato, this is North Cotabato, and Zamboanga del Sur in Sindangan. Number 2, business centers that will be converted to branches. We will convert Hasaan into a branch, Dinagat Island, Tubud, and Barobo in Surigao del Sur. We have also branches that will now have its own lots. We will acquire lots for Claveria. No, this is in Misamis Oriental, Claveria, Balingwan, Salay, and El Salvador. In Cagayan de Oro, we will acquire lot for Xavier Heights. And in Misamis Occidental, Usamis City. Malipay na ginani si Ma'am Jane. In Bukidnon, that is Talakag and Kisolon, Lanao del Norte, Iligan, that is Aguinaldo, Zamboanga del Sur in Pagadian, in Cebu Province, Cebu, Lapu-Lapu, and Mandawi. Agusan del Sur in San Francisco, and Tandag in Surigao del Sur. FICCO will also acquire a lot in Valencia, Bukidnon, to set up the rice processing center, which is similar to one existing in Magpataw, Lala, Lanao del Norte. FICCO will also acquire a lot, doble naman no? So in Cagayan de Oro, we have the main. I think we will be renovating these branches. No? Cagayan de Oro, the main branch, atong utroho na, kay medyo tigulang na gina, liwat na kinis ka istorya. Ato na baguhon. In Tagum City, in Kabadbaran, Imkalo, and Hagna. We also have renovation for Lapasan, Carmen, and Puerto, and Mental in Davao City. Number 6, we adopt one poor community per region. So, dugang trabaho sa atong mga regional managers. Kinahanglan mangita sila og mga komunidad na diin we will be extending or giving support through our cooperative social responsibility program with the intent of partnering with its residents in starting sustainable social enterprise that will improve the lives of the residents. Next one is set up another FICCO rice processing center in Valencia, Bukidnon, and purchase a rice mill, solar, dryer, and mechanical dryer. We also have to buy some trackway scale and all other related equipment for the mill or rice mill. We also intend to hire 92 additional employees to man these mga branches, new branches, and business centers. Number 9, we are in the process of obtaining or acquiring a franchise from Generica Drugstore. Hopefully, madali na siya to open up our own drugstore sa atong mga branches. Number 10, we also applied for registration in the electronic registration system of the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. Through this, FICCO hopes to assess and provide convenience to the members in securing the respective TINs. Galisod gid sila nani no. Dugay kay ta makakuha og PIN ang atong mga membro di pagkakuha. So we will try to apply for this system so that we will be able to help our members. Number 11, there is an initial dialogue with Globe in upgrading of its CAP SIM Plan 325 that will provide only calls and only text to all members and a 3 GB data valid for 30 days. Number 12, FICCO is now coming up with a smaller pack or 5 kilogram pack and 10 kilogram packs of rice, which are easy to carry and more affordable, especially for smaller family sizes. So that's the plans for the year 2022. The impact of COVID-19 to FICCO operations is quite severe. But thanks to the unwavering support of members, our co-op is about to emerge from the ravages of this pandemic bruised but not unbowed, but unbowed. Thriving in a certain way and not just surviving, we are coming out of this crisis as such is clearly a gift of God. Those all are enjoined to constantly give thanks to our God, who is the giver of life and all things that nurture life, including our beloved cooperative. Let us constantly examine our conscience and pray for the gift of discernment from the Holy Spirit, so that we will no longer allow those who cursed our God in words and in deeds, and their minions to rule over our land. We also give thanks and include in our prayers those members and friends who contributed in whatever capacity to the well-being of FICCO. Congratulations and mabuhay ang FICCO. For the board, ILICOM, and CRICOM, your chairman, Elmo Bautista. Thank you very much. Madam Chair. Thank you. Madam Chair, I move for the acceptance of the consolidated report of the Board of Directors, Education Committee, Credit Committee for the year 2021.
There is a motion for the acceptance of the consolidated report of the Board of Directors, Education Committee, Credit Committee. Any second? Severally seconded. Discussion. Objection. There being none, a motion for the consolidation report of the Board of Directors, Education Committee, and Credit Committee is hereby approved.
Thank you very much.
Let's proceed with the report of our guys, the FICCO subsidiaries and foundation. Our consultant, Mr. Isagani Daba, to present to you the updates of FICCO subsidiaries and FICCO for the year 2021.
Morning, everyone. I am tasked to report on the 3 subsidiaries of FICCO. Some people in earlier GA's question, anong gagamay na lang? Actually, one CISP, we're still the biggest stockholder, but it's no longer more than 50%. That's why it cannot be classified as a subsidiary of ours. No? So I'll be reporting on 3 subsidiaries, but allow me also to include, it's not your program, the recently registered One Co-op Health Service Mindanao Federation. So the subsidiaries I'll be reporting on is about water, and then our bank, and then the housing. The objective is to provide housing to members as well as offices for our FICCO operation. And then I will also have a brief mention about the recently registered One Cooperative Health Service Mindanao Federation. Let me start with the Mindanao Cooperatives Water Service Federation, or MCWS. This was organized in 2018 with 12 cooperatives and 2 corporations with water businesses. Right now, it has 15 members already. We have 1 addition from Davao City, which is Silangan, multipurpose cooperative. And we have also another member in Bislig City, the Mangagoy Fishermen's Multipurpose Cooperative. We are now providing water in partnership with our joint venture partner, the Kyogoho Engineering Service Cooperative. We are providing water to the residents of Lumbia, although we have some problems there, Mambuaya, Bayanga, Tagwanaw, Makasandig, and Baikingon. These are all in Cagayan de Oro City. And we have also presently running the water system in Bislig City, covering the poblacion and its adjacent barangays, namely Kumawas and San Fernando. We have expanded this already to San Isidro in Bislig City. Just very recently, just last December 26 actually, we started delivering water to Kiliog, Kinawe, Gango. These are all in Libuna, Bukidnon, and in Dahag, Cagayan de Oro City. Right now, we are piping, bring the water to Kamakawan, and it is in Dahag, and also Makapaya, which is already Upper Kamaman-an. So this water system actually can service even Gusa and the whole of Kamaman-an if need be. So the total assets of the Mindanao Cooperatives Water Service Federation at the end of 2021 is 441.69 million. An increase of 173.26 million or 64.5% from the balance as of end of 2020. Of this, 375,700 constitutes the cost of all the water facilities that either we have upgraded or we have really newly installed. Compared to last year, which is only 84.18. So this is an increase of 291,520,000 or 346.3%. Capital of the Mindanao Cooperative Water Service Federation is 370.76. And FICCO owns more than 95% of this capital. There's an increase of 42.5% compared to end of 2020 balance of 260.12. Gross revenue is 8,670,000 versus 2020 6,530,000, an increase of 32.7. But we did not include anymore the gross revenue of our joint ventures, although in the report it is stated there, but the net surplus is already included. Expenses of the federation is only 2.2 million. It's a huge increase compared to last year, which is only 650,000. Oh, that is 239%. The net surplus is 6,470,000 versus the net surplus of last year, 5,890,000. Actually, fellow members of FICCO, the Water Service Federation started operating only in February 2020. So our first full year of operation, because 2020 is only 11 months, but 2021 is really the full 12 months already. Its return on assets is even lower. Last year is 2.92%. It's now down to 1.82%. Return on equity is also lower, 2.99 versus the current one, which is 2.03. I hope you will not be concerned about this because from what I've learned, an enterprise like water service is a capital-intensive enterprise. And people expect only to make money on this if there are no problems encountered after 5 years. But in our case, actually we have reported even just during those years na wala pa water operation, we have already reported small but steady net surpluses. So it keeps on increasing, but we are hoping that 2022 is already the start of really good performance of this water service, because we have started delivering water only not only to Indahag and the nearby barangays, as well as the barangays in Libuna, Bukidnon, but also last December 29, we also started delivering bulk water supply to Metro Cotabato Water District. We started with January of about 3,000 cubic meter, but as of March, we have already delivered 5,000. The lower volume is due to problems of the water district concerning leaks, no, in their system. Their systems are old, and the flow is still strong. So we have to lower the volume of flow, because otherwise all their system will break down. And they are continuing to repair it. We are hoping that by June or July, we will be already delivering the contracted 7,000 cubic meters per day at 3 pesos 25 centavos per cubic meter, which is the net share of MCWS. We expect an earning of about 8 to 9 million in 1 year, no, from this. Let me now proceed to the Consolidated Cooperative Bank. This has been a subsidiary for quite some time for FICCO, although Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is asking us already to bring down. Right now, our contribution to the capital is 57%. I said there's no way to bring it down to 40% as required by the Manual of Regulations for Banks. No? There's no way to bring it down to 40% unless more members will be joining in. So, if we will look at the assets of CCB, it has increased to 1,709,000,000 at the end of 2021 from 1,431,000,000 at the end of 2020. That's a 19.4 increase. But its loan portfolio increased only by 8.6%. So looking at it, I'm not really that happy, because if assets has increased by 19.4, your loan portfolio should increase almost at the same level if you want really to maximize the return of the assets of that particular social enterprise. In contrast, cash has gone up. So basically, whatever increase in asset, most of it nakapaingon lang sa cash, no? Pumunta lang sa cash. So it's now 553.91 million. There's an allowable level required by BSP, but it is just too high, and hopefully will push CCB to increase its lending operation. Asset for sales and repossessed assets is 79.85 million, almost at the same level, slightly lower than last year's 81.58. A piece of good news is the deposits. It is now 1,318,000,000 from 1,107,000,000 in 2020. That's a good increase, 19.1. Basically, it's the one that's funding. The bulk of the funding of the increase in assets is coming from deposits. Capital also has contributed, because it's increased to 242.24 million from 224.97 million the previous year. Gross income is 113.67 versus last year of 103.72. That's an increase of 9.6%. And its expenses is thankfully lower. No? The reason why the expense of 2020 is high is because of provision for loan loss. Just like FICCO, CCB was also gravely affected by COVID. Because of the lower provisioning, CCB reported a net surplus of 16,796,000 from a loss of 8,169,000 in 2020. That's a 24,965,000 turnaround from a loss to a surplus. Return on assets, negative last year at 0.58. It's now positive 0.98. Return on equity, 2.36 last year. It's now 6.26. The third subsidiary I would like to report is about our FICCO Development Corporation. And this covers already, it has a subsidiary, the 1C Security Services Corporation. That's a subsidiary of the FICCO Development Corporation. So, anong negosyo nitong FDC? Their mandate really is provide housing affordable to FICCO and work for finding strategic lots in areas we will be expanding so that we can put up offices there that will not only house our offices but also earn for us some rental income. And its subsidiary actually, 1C Security Services, provides the guards that are manning or basically providing security to all our offices, even the subsidiaries or related companies of FICCO. So the assets of FDC is now 170,270,000 from 64,077,000 in 2020. That's a growth of 162.9%. Cash equivalent is 38,610,000. It's lower by 21,300,000 from last year's 59.91 million. That's a reduction of 35.5%. Property and equipment is 4.12, up from last year's 3.67, 12.5% increase. Investment properties, actually this is Wingrace. The bulk of this is Wingrace. That was acquired in 2021. We have none in 2020. So we have this huge investment which might not be giving us good return in 2021 because of COVID. But with the move of colleges to open up already face-to-face or in-person classes, we expect that will improve also our earning from this particular investment property that we have. The capital of FICCO Development Corporation is 168.5 million. This is 100% owned by FICCO. Gross revenue, it's a huge jump from 670,000 in 2020. We have a gross revenue of 6,760,000 in 2021. That's a 903.2% growth. Operating expenses from 480,000 in 2020, it increased to 4,770,000, 891.1% growth. But that's okay because it's lower than the percentage of growth of the gross revenue. We have now a net income of 1.5 million from a loss of 3 million in 2020. Return on assets and return on equity in 2020 is negative 4.53 and 4.6%, but it's now positive 1.28 and 1.31%. So barring any COVID-type pandemic in the coming years that will again force us to lock down, we expect that FICCO Development Corporation will be on its way to be also a contributor to the bottom line of FICCO. Briefly, let me discuss. I ask permission on this. Last February 3, we got the registration of the One Cooperative Health Service Mindanao Federation. The biggest stockholder of this is FICCO. The intent is, initially, in the first 3 years, we'll establish strategically located clinics in Cagayan de Oro. And if we'll be doing well on this, we plan to have 6 clinics, 5 to 6 clinics in Cagayan de Oro. If we'll be doing well on this, then we'll have a hospital 3 years from now. No? So that will be by 2026. We'll have a hospital. And if we'll be successful in this arrangement, we'll replicate this in other areas in Mindanao. And hopefully also later on in the Visayas and Luzon. Or we can just partner with the Medical Mission Group Hospital that we have in Luzon. No? So I encourage members, there are 2 groups of doctors. If you are familiar with St. Ignatius, in fact, that is where I usually have my annual physical checkup and my consultation. Its cost is very much lower than if you go to hospital. Even 50% lower, or in some instances, even more than 50% lower. So I encourage you to patronize the One Co-op Health Service Mindanao Federation. This is actually the game plan, ladies and gentlemen, members of FICCO. We are in water, we are in banking, we'll be into housing, we'll be in health. We don't know where we'll go next. Are we going to power? And are we going to telecommunication? Nobody knows. No? But we will get there. But the beauty of this basically business model is what we're trying to drive at is we, the members, will own this and we will share in the income of this, and it will not be solely enjoyed by the capitalist that is controlling our economy right now. Let me now proceed to the FICCO Community Outreach Foundation. So in 2021, we have given calamity assistance worth 6,280,911. And this covered 57,350 beneficiaries. In terms of outreach assistance, we conducted several outreach, providing assistance to 193 people who are not members of FICCO actually. We spent 56,163. Community assistance, 153 were benefited, 289,000. And the major items is scholarship. We have now 92 scholars, 92 scholars, and we spent for them 2,791,789.61. So members out there in other areas, our scholars are already all over Mindanao and Visayas. So if you feel that you need the assistance, just apply through FICCO Branches. This will be on a first come, first serve basis. Kaya unlimited atong budget ani. Social enterprise assistance is worth 2,078,090. And we have we partner with several LUMAD or indigenous peoples groups, and we have helped so far 177 of them, and we spent 791,000. I'll explain what are the kind of assistance that we have provided later. Environmental protection, we continuously, since July last year, right after our anniversary, we planted something like 4,750 tree seedlings already until November. Right now, we are continuing it, replanting those that did not grow, and we call it now tree caring. So we are putting compost on the trees we planted, and we are really happy with the result. No? The growth of the trees we planted is really looking good. We still have, although we plan to turn this over to FICCO Rice Processing Center, but in 2021, the foundation was still able to purchase palay from farmer members of FICCO, and were able to generate surplus on this, gross revenue on this of 21,758,000. But we have some cost. We have a bottom line of 1,493,000. Just be careful to indicate in our report that this is net income, because the BIR will pounce on us again on this. Ongoing social enterprises being pursued by FCOP. We have, I don't know, many of us are not familiar with ADLAI. No? ADLAI actually is an alternative health food. No? It's an alternative to rice, particularly. It is good for people with diabetes or trying to avoid to become diabetic. It's good for you because it has lower, I forgot the content of it that really causes the blood sugar to rise up. I forgot the name of it. It has lower content on that compared to rice. So we encourage members, if you go to supermarkets on this, the price range is between 300 to 599 pesos, no, per kilo. So that's the price range, 300. But FICCO is selling it at 150 pesos. We're trying to help the Higaunon farmers that we have given the seeds to improve their productivity so that we can even lower the price pa. So we encourage members, kung mupalit naman lang mong adlay sa mga supermarket, sa FICCO na lang mo palit. No? It's good to eat. Ang corn grits, mais, medyo hait. No? But adlay is very smooth. And isa gamay ra imong, if you cook only a little quantity of it, mubukad kay siya. And dugay ka gutumon. So, dugay ka gutumon. No? It will take some time for you to be hungry. Sorry. We're also providing seedlings to small farmers and indigenous people, seedlings of strawberry and oolong tea. No? Oolong tea. Wala pa ko kakitilaw o strawberry, pero nakasulay na ko na ning oolong tea. It's good. No? We have 5 barangays of Claveria, 2 barangays of Hingoog, and 1 in Naawan. The assistance that we provided to them is 732,000 pesos just to produce the seedlings, and hopefully we will distribute these seedlings to other IP groups, small farmers also in other areas. And right now, almost complete na, is a tissue culture laboratory. Why did we come up with this idea? The IPs in Mirayon, Talakag, and the nearby barangays, paano na sila diya? Mirayon, Lapok, Lirungan, and Tinaytayan. Pat na sila kaabay-abay ngawan. They are asking us to provide them planting materials for patatas. So we went to Numyark. Dili ka provide ang Numyark because they have 6 nursery houses before. It's down to 2. And from what I gathered, the 2 that is still producing the planting materials prioritize the big farmers. So wala kay kapaingon sa small farmers. So we decided to put up this tissue culture lab. We give priority to them, but kaning tissue culture lab can produce any kind of planting material unya to help our farmers, even ornamental plants. So that's the main points for our FICCO Community Outreach Foundation. FICCO has been blessed in these years, even in the time of pandemic. We sa na butang dia sa atong report, medyo ni tiklohon ang FICCO pero wala gid malukapa, no? So we are still not just surviving but thriving. So we thank God for that That's why we'll also continue providing assistance to people who need it, that hopefully they too will be empowered and become responsible members of FICCO. Thank you very much. Mayong buntag sa tanan.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir. Is there now a motion to accept the report of our subsidiaries and yes, any motion? Yes, Ma'am Cecile.
Move for the acceptance of the report of our subsidiaries.
So there is a motion to accept the report of subsidiaries and the foundation. Any second? Severally seconded. Discussion. Any discussion? Queries? Objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Now let's go to the audit report. May we call on Mr. Robert Easton Conco to render us the audit committee report.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to present with you the Audit Committee report for the year 2021. As follows: areas to be improved and findings. Cash dealing, cash transfer logbook not duly accomplished. Dealer's proof sheet not duly signed by the appropriate personnel within 3 to 5 days from transaction. Recommendation for strict implementation and compliance to operation policies and procedure. Management response timelines. Management has called attention and appropriate sanction were given to respective employees. Continuous monitoring of this policy for the year 2022. Loan receivable. Real property tax received for the year 2021 are not on file for loans with real estate collaterals. Recommendation: members, borrowers should be reminded to submit updated tax report receipts and constant follow-up to them for the aforesaid attachment. Management response timeline. Responsible branch personnel will be sanctioned on repetitive findings as the memo or reminder was reiterated to the respective branches. Late filing and of notarization of promissory notes. Recommendation for strict implementation and ensure complete filing of notarized promissory notes. Thereby, there should be at least 2 weeks to complete the process from the time the loan was released. Management response timeline, continuous monitoring of this policy for the year 2022. Other receivables, overdue and no payment are noted on some of the account receivable, official, and others. Recommendation: exert collection efforts for the recovery of the accounts, and it would be better that overdue and outstanding receivable accounts will form part of the committee and BOD report for constant monitoring and prompt decision on how the account will be resolved or settled. Management response to be acted upon this year 2022 and to incorporate to the monthly committee report the update and status of the accounts. P-based inventories. Slow movement on sales of the P-based inventories. Recommendation, review the pricing and marketing strategies of this product. Management response, we already have established a department, research and development and marketing, who will study and work out of this matter. Compliance or continuity plan. Some of the branches have defective generators. Generators are a backup plan and a best tool to keep the business protected at times of power outages. Thus, it is a must to maintain a working condition of a generator to all offices, branches, and business center. Management response, we have reminded the branches to conduct regular maintenance of the machine and ensure appropriate supply of oil and gas. Monitoring of the regular checkup must be indicated in the logbook. Repairs of replacement of the machine is already incorporated in this year 2022. Mr. Chair, I move to accept the audit report for the year 2021.
Thank you. There is now a motion to accept the consolidated report of the Audit and Inventory Committee found on page 44 of our annual report. Please second. Severally seconded. Discussion. Nainasuko. Discussion. Reactions. Objection. Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
aside by my report, and I request 1 minute for my testimonies about FICCO. Just 1 minute.
Minute out of order. We will just include that in the other matters, sir.
Other matter.
Then, oh yes, we will call you in the other matters.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's now proceed to the external audit report. May we call on our internal auditor to give highlights, then we will just approve the external audit report. I think this is the first time. Okay, okay. So our external audit report is found on pages pages 14 to 43 on our annual report. Pages 14 to 43. And this report is already in our branches. So may I hear a motion to accept the report of our external auditors together with its audited financial statements for the years and including the notes of the financial statements ending December 31, 2021 and December 31, 2020. Any motion? Yes, sir. There is a motion.
Pedro Alaba of main branch. I move for the acceptance of the independent auditor's report. I move for the acceptance of the independent auditor's report for the year 2021.
Okay, there is now a motion by Mr. Alaba to accept the independent auditor's report for the years 2021 and 2020. And I second, severally seconded. Discussion. Objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Now let's proceed with the resolutions for the General Assembly approval. May we call on Attorney Noel G. Bacal to present us the proposed amendments and resolutions for our bylaws. Mana siya siguro, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, fellow FICCO members. For proposed General Assembly resolutions, we start with General Assembly Resolution 2022-01, a resolution approving the blueprint of FICCO's strategic plan for the years 2022 to 2026. Whereas the board believes that the development of a specific mission, vision, and both long and short-term goals and objectives is vital for the future of FICCO. Whereas the board has established a mission and vision statement and a series of strategic goals and objectives for the years 2022 to 2026. Whereas the adoption of these statements provide the framework for the development of FICCO and gives its officers, employees, and staff a direction and sense of purpose. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the attached blueprint of FICCO's strategic plan for the years 2022 to 2026 is hereby approved and adopted by the board. Mr. Chair, may I move for the approval of General Assembly Resolution 2022-01.
There is now a motion to approve the proposed resolution approving the blueprint of FICCO's strategic plan for the years 2022 to 2026. Second.
I move to approve proposed
Second.
resolution.
Any second. Nag-motion na si attorney. Any second. Several seconded. Discussion. Objection. Hearing none, the motion is carried. Next, attorney.
Proposed General Assembly Resolution 2022-02 to increase the authorized common share capital from 7 billion pesos to 10 billion pesos. Whereas it is necessary to increase the authorized common share capital of FICCO as the paid up common share is now 6,345,840,141 or 63,458,401 shares at 100 par value. Whereas the average annual increase of FICCO's common share capital is 693,815,933 or 6,938,159 shares at 100 par value. And it is estimated that by the end of the year 2022, the existing authorized share capital will now be fully subscribed. Resolved as it is hereby resolved to increase the authorized common share capital of FICCO from 7 billion pesos or 70 million shares at 100 par value to 10 billion pesos or 100 million shares at 100 par value. Resolved further to submit this amendment of our Articles of Cooperation, particularly Article 8 to the CDA. Mr. Chair, may I move for the approval of General Assembly Resolution 2022-02.
There is now a motion by Attorney Bacal to approve the proposed General Assembly Resolution 2022-02 to increase the authorized common share capital of FICCO from 7 billion pesos to 10 billion pesos. Any second? Yes, Madam. Thank you very much. Severally seconded. Discussion. Reactions? Objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Proposed General Assembly Resolution 2022-03, a resolution amending the breakdown of optional fund. Whereas FICCO allocated not more than 7% of its net surplus as optional fund for land and building and any other necessary fund. Whereas the Board of Directors find it necessary to include Advocacy Fund and Cooperative Social Responsibility Fund to the optional fund with the breakdown as follows. CRF, not more than 4%. Land and Building Fund, not more than 2.5%. Advocacy Fund, not more than 0.5%. Now, therefore, be it resolved to approve the aforementioned allocation of the optional fund and to include in its articles of incorporation and bylaws of FICCO. Mr. Chair, may I move for the approval of General Assembly Resolution 2022-03.
There is a motion to approve General Assembly Resolution 2022-03. Any second? Yes, thank you. Several has seconded. Discussion. Objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Proposed General Assembly Resolution 2022-04, a resolution authorizing the conduct of the 2022 General Assembly via online conferencing, streaming, and sequential referendum. Whereas, in light of the pandemic and restrictions brought by it, FICCO could not possibly hold physical mass gathering to cater all its members for the conduct of the 2022 General Assembly or Special Assembly when the need arises. Whereas, taking into consideration the pandemic and its consequent restrictions, it is deemed necessary to adopt a blended, simultaneous, and continuing or sequential mode of conducting its annual General Assembly or Special Assembly. Resolved that the conduct of its annual General Assembly or Special General Assembly shall be done not only via face-to-face, but also online through video conferencing via Zoom and through live streaming via Facebook. These two modes shall be in addition to the on-site and face-to-face assembly, which is the customary mode of conducting annual General Assembly and Special Assembly. Further resolved that the duration of the blended annual General Assembly shall only be for a period of 30 days to be reckoned from its official opening. Further resolved that to determine the presence of a quorum during the assembly and the votes of the members on the matters that require their approval, a referendum shall be made for this purpose and official ballots shall be physically distributed to the members. Further resolved that to prevent fraud or any other form of deceit, the forms and ballots shall be safeguarded by the respective officers, employees of FICCO. Finally, resolved that to save time, the ELECOM may do partial counting of official ballots at the end of every week of the assembly, provided that they shall keep the unofficial results confidential. Mr. Chair, may I move for the approval of General Assembly Resolution 2022-04.
There is now a motion to approve General Assembly Resolution 2022-04, authorizing or a resolution authorizing the conduct of the 2022 General Assembly via online conferencing, streaming, and sequential referendum. Any second? Severally seconded. Discussion. Objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
That is all for the proposed General Assembly resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Attorney. Okay, thank you. Let's now proceed with our next agenda, which is the proposed budget for the 2022. Let's now call on our treasurer, the president, Mr. Nicholas H. Veronelia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to present to you the proposed budget for the year 2022. Okay, so first, I am reporting for the consolidated assets and liabilities, which comprises of the province of the branches, treasury unit, and FICCO's rice processing for the year 2022. Total assets we are projecting for this year of 18.6 billion. There is an increase of 10.24% from 16.9 to 18.6 billion. Cash cash equivalent, we have an increase of 60% from 2.5 billion to 3.9 billion for this year. Investment, there is an increase of 10% from 2.2 billion to 2.4 billion this year. The total loan need, we are projecting on 11.6 billion from 8.4 billion. It is an incremental of 36.9% for the current unrestructured. And we have, for the past due, we have 17.44%. Fixed asset net, we have from 569 million to 1.1 billion. There is an increase of 68%. Non-earning asset from 690 million to 933.8 million. There is an increase of 35%. Non-cost bearing funds from 1.659 million to 1.6 billion. For the total deposits, we are projecting of 15.1 billion from 14.2 billion, with an increase of 5.9%. Number of members this year, we are projecting for 493,317 from 413,704. So we have expecting an increase of 19%. The net surplus this year, we are projecting of 768.7 million from 718 million for this year, for the year 2021. So we are expecting an increase of 7.03%. Our profitability rate, we are projecting this year of 41.44% from 45.7%. So we are expecting a little bit lower because of this pandemic. And in the past due rate, this year we are projecting on 10.24%, where in fact our actual last year is 11.74%. Next is to proceed the FICCO's consolidated income statement budget for the year 2022. The projections for this year, the gross income is 1.9 billion from 1.6 billion. So we have to increase by 18%. Total expenses, we have our target is 1.1 billion from 853.4 million last year. So there is an incremental of 27.26%. Net surplus, we have projecting 768.7 million from 718 with an increase of 7.03%. So the profitability rate, we have 41.44%. Next is the budgeted net surplus distribution. So as we have noticed, we have a total of 700 plus income to the statutory funds, 30% equivalent to 230 million. And then the DPR allocations is the amounted to 538 million. Now, the appropriations of dividend and patronage refund for the 2022, we are expecting that for dividend, 78.63%, and the patronage is 21%, that equivalent 100%. So the 538, the DPR allocations broken down into the dividend is 423 million and 115 million for the patronage refund. Our target for this year, dividend and patronage refund rates, we are expecting the dividend rate is 6%. And the patronage refund is at 12%, broken down into the amount of 7 billion for the average year and the interest paid for the average of 958 million. Now we go for the capital outlay for the year 2022. Now, the equipment that we are projecting next year is 118 million. The furniture and fixture, we have 15 million. The transportation and equipment, we have 15 million also. And the building improvement, we have projecting 19.1 million. And then the leasehold improvement, we are projecting 17.5 million. And the building, 133.1 million. Land, 193 million, with a total of 506.1 million. So we are also expecting for the intangible assets, the systems, the computerizations, we are expecting to invest 93.1 million. Next is the budget for social and gender development funds. For this year, we are projecting for the total of the social development fund for 223 million. It broken down the cooperative members, 75 million, cooperative officers, 2.9 million, and the cooperative staff, 41.5 million, and the community for 93.9 million. Budget for the gender and development with a total of 7.5 million. It broken down into cooperative members, 2.4 million, cooperative officers, 1.7 million, cooperative staff, 810,000. For the community, 2.5 million. So, Mr. Chair, I move for the acceptance of the consolidated operating capital outlay social and development budget for the year 2022.
Okay, so thank you very much. There is now a motion to approve the asset liability targets. Isa pa. Income statement budget,
Capital outlay.
capital outlay,
Development.
what else?
Development.
Social
Gender.
social development.
Gender development.
Yeah, social development plan and budget, gender and development
Budget.
activities and budget. What else? Wala.
Wala.
So in a second, yes ma'am, thank you very much ma'am. Ma'am Cecil, severally seconded. Discussion. Objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Mr.
Thank you.
President. So, ano ba ta? Okay, so hapit na tayo mahuman. No? Malapit na tayong mag-recess. So at this juncture, we will have to take up other matters. There are other matters that have been previously submitted. So I think yes, so we will respond to the other matters or questions from our members. So who will first throw your concerns?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For the question and answer segment, for the members who are physically present in the venue, may I request you to stand and come forward to also microphone. And before you air your question, kindly state your name and branch. I would also like to inform everyone that today's General Assembly is broadcasted live through Facebook, Zoom, and YouTube platform. And I understand our members and viewers on this platform has questions. We will also select questions from our online viewers. Rest assured, we can still respond to your questions or concern by messaging back to you. So also for our respective BOD members and management, feel free to answer the questions using, of course, the microphone so that everyone can hear and understand the explanation. So let's start with our first question.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
I'm
Yes, kindly state your
Saturnina
name.
Abirin of Lapasan Branch, FICCO Lapasan Branch.
Morning, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What is your question, ma'am?
My question is regarding the FICCO rice, which is more expensive than the market.
Okay, so you're referring to our rice nga ginabaligya, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
May we ask our CEO to answer the query? That's operational. CEO, ano kunong mahal atong bugas? Dili naman mahal siguro karon.
Mas mahal kayo sa market, sir.
Okay, ulit, sige, go ahead.
I'd like to answer your questions, Madam. Ang atong rice is of good and high quality. High quality ato ang rice. Compare sa gawas, no, sa gawas sa FRPC, ang rice is low, imported, low quality, and some are not good. Ang atong rice is long grain, and most importantly, ang rice nato is output na siya gikan sa ato ang mga miyembro sa FICCO dito sa Maranding, Lalalano del Norte, and the nearby municipality. Ang atong rice, masarap kainin kahit bahaw. Labi na og parisan ninyo og bulad. So tangkilikin ang sariling atin. Tangkilikin ang sariling atin. Most importantly, ang price nato karon no sa market, ang price nato sa FICCO karon is based on prevailing market price. So barato na siya, dili na siya mahal. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jane. Naay additional nga pakipahayag si Madam Susan.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's true nga dili kayo siya ingana ka-competitive atong rice, but rest assured that it is not treated compared sa mga imported rice or the rice that we buy in the market. Dili siya chemical-free siya, and then inganang iyang price because you buy it at sakto-sakto gid nga cost from the member farmers. So, para pod nga makabawi sila sa ilang expense sa farming. So, gikan that rice is bought from our members of Maranding. So, again, it is of high quality and not treated chemically. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So next question.
Next question, please. Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Can you state your name, ma'am, and your
Yes,
respective branch?
I am Deliati Agiman from Lapasan Branch. My question, ma'am, is what is the status of the Buhangin property acquired by FICCO from the PDIC? And number two, what will happen if FICCO is lost on the case? Can the payment of FICCO be returned?
Okay, thank you for the question, ma'am. So, can we ask Attorney Bacal to give us some insights regarding this question?
Good morning, ma'am. The status of the Buhangin case, the case is still pending before the RTC in Davao. It is still in its pre-trial stages. Sobra pa siguro ana, dili na nako mo comment because of sub judice rule. What will happen if we will lose the case? Because we bought it from because the lot is already owned by PDIC. Ilara nang i-re-auction ang property, and there was a commitment already by PDIC that they will still award it to FICCO. So mura na ako mahatag nga update.
So thank you, attorney, for the answering my question.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Can we have another question? Yes.
Okay, I'm Sonia Busano,
Yes,
FICCO
ma'am.
Main.
Good morning.
Question ako, why until now, premiums sa atong non-life insurance such as motor and fire, higher ta sa uban commercial insurance?
Yes, can we,
Mas higher ta sa ubang commercial insurance
yes, your
companies.
question, ma'am, is higher ta o insurance sa other?
Sa motor o sa
Sa
fire.
motor, yeah,
And-
premium for the non-life, for the motor,
And fire.
fire, yes. I would like to ask Ma'am Cecil for the answer, for giving us some insightful, yes, information regarding the question.
Thank you, Ma'am Jang. Ma'am, thank you for that question. So, good morning guys sa atong board of directors and all who are here.
Morning, Ma'am Sil.
Ang amo lang kasulti gid ma'am is mo ginang common feedback nga amo ka-receive from other members or other clients nga nagpa-quote sa ato. As far as one CISP is concerned, we are using manggod the tariff. Naman ko yung standard tariff ang IC on that. So, kung dili sad nato sundon manggod ang tariff, kung mahibal-an na sa insurance commission na ay corresponding penalty. So, 25,000 per policy ang penalty ana sa IC kung dili nato sundon ang tariff. Now, although naatay some leeway, naman ay bracket lugar gihapon. So, naagya po tayo mga ginagmay nga mga adjustments, but we cannot go lower than what is the tariff being issued by the insurance commission. Now, siguro kanang ubang insurance companies naghatag sila og lower nga premium, maybe because well, personally ha, basin og mga friends nila, so naman gina sila yung mga commission, basin ang pati ang ilang commission, ila na lang gipadidak from the what do you call that, from the premium. O provided nga when the policy is issued, I think ang ila gid gyapon gasundon is what is in the tariff being provided by IC. Kay delikado man gud na kung makit-an sa IC, kay we will be penalized for that. So mo nang I hope nasabtansad na sa atong mga members nga kita being a cooperative as much as possible, we should be transparent. So kung unsa gid tong regulations ato gid nga sundon. Kana lang po. Daghang salamat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Sel. So, next question. Napa? Yes, tinagsa lang. Una lang. Saman, men first or so, gentleman first. Sige, sir.
Mayong buntag sa tanan. My name is Bonere Actob of all branch, FICCO Volunteer. Sir, we understood that FICCO is changing our interest rate and adjusted it uniformly to 14% per annum. Then 2% processing fee. Any from the board cut to back for that question?
So, you were asking for the rates that we have set, sir?
14% per annum?
Yeah. The 14% per annum is actually effective. Meaning, appeal na niya na ang 2%. Ang actual yun nga ka-deduct nato nga simple interest is 6% ra na kapinser. Sa ato pa, kung atong tan-aw na sa daan, mas na siya. Mas ubos na siya kay ang effective man atong gikuha, dili man ang actual gid nga inyong gabayran or gabayran sa membro. So meaning ato nang gipadayag gid dat. Yeah, atong gipadayag ang tinud-anay or ang effective interest rate. Dili katong gabayran lang ninyo nga simple interest. Mo man ang imong giingon sir nga murag gitaas ya, no? Pero sa pagkatinuod ni ubos kay ang daan nato nga sistema katong 8% kay ingon kita 8% man to. Pero ang effective rate niya to ga-range kato from 13 to 18%. Moto ang effective rate niya tong 8%, sir. So meaning, kung imo nang tan-awon, sumahon gid nimo, nagpaubos gani kita og effective rate. No, nagpaubos kita og interest rate. Okay? ako na lang nitubag kay aron ako ra bay nagmusyon ni ana napaubsan na to. Kiaway pa ko ni ana medyo sa atong management kay anong paubsan mga igsuon. Pero ako gipasabot nila nga bawion ta na lang kana sa kadaghanon sa atong i-release nga loan. Okay? So, thank you.
Chairman, if I may, a friendly reminder that if you're asking questions or if you're raising questions, kindly use Tagalog or English so that the other Luzon team can understand Tagalog or English lang. Yes.
Bisaya ang po
Oo. Yes, Chairman.
Sorry. So we will just use tagless or tagbis. Okay, next question please. Una kasi una nagpataas ay ikaw ma'am, sige. Identify yourself.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jelly Paquino of Jano Brands. I have three question for our co-op health. Okay. Number one, how do we address the issue that the professional fee of doctors covered only up to 300 pesos? Do the pay of our doctors increase during the COVID? Number two, why some doctors suspend their accreditation with the CHMO, and what shall we do if this is not covered? And number three, why is this swab test not included in the coverable procedure but not covered by co-op health insurance, when in fact, this is the first step before the member will be confined in the hospital? Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Jel, for that question. So first is, coverage is of 100 pesos with the professional fee is, we have already pending review with the insurance now, the CHMF, to consider the premium for the members. So we have already met last Tuesday, we have a meeting last Tuesday regarding this matter. Second, yes, if the doctors are not accepting patients during the pandemic, so you can also avail for the reimbursement. No, as long as you can submit the required documents like medical certificate, the doctor's diagnosis, and the official receipts, and just submit it to the RPC, the RPA not office. For the third question, the swab test or screening test is of our exclusion. So it is not really covered. But we really tried our best to talk with the CHMF to consider such issue since there is pandemic. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Rose. So, our next question is, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning sa atong mga panel of board of directors. So our beloved consultant, Mr. Daba, my idol. Then to our chairman of different committees, good morning. My question is about, we know that our investment in MSCF was withdrawn and we filed a case. Then my question is, what is the main reason? What is the main reason why we leave that MSCF? And the second is, unsa na status sa kaso karon? Then the third is, who will cater or who will provide assistance or who kinsa na mo cater sa atong kung dunay mamatay? That's all. I would like Sir Dava to answer this question.
Yes, may we request at Chairman Chito to
Okay.
answer the question?
Yes. Good morning, Ma'am Mercy and everyone. Good morning. Thank you for the question. The reason we decided to withdraw from MECF is because they violated a FICCO General Assembly resolution requiring subsidiaries to adopt the FICCO culture. So we have a governance issue with them, which is very close to our hearts with regards to FICCO culture. And speaking of governance issue, ang MSCF, they conducted many committee meetings with honorarium. Tayo sa FICCO, the members of the board, when we conduct committee meetings, and it's not only one committee meetings in a month, several committee meetings, we do not receive any honorarium. We only receive honorarium when we have our board meeting. Para sa isang co-op na hindi masyadong malaki, pag masyadong mataas ang governance cost natin, yung income natin ay nagsasuffer. So for MECF, which is not as big as FICCO, and their costs, especially in terms of governance, is very high because they are always receiving honorariums even when they are conducting committee meetings only. It has a big effect on their bottom line. Tapos we ask them to stop it, pero ayaw. They don't want it, so we decided to withdraw. With regards to the other question, Ma'am Mercy, yung sa benefits, previously, yung member has two options. One is he can continue with yung beneficiary ng member has the option to continue availing the services of MSCF, or pwede niya i-convert into cash yung benefit na marireceive niya sa MSCF, and siya na ang bahala sa lahat ng expenses. But now, yung bago nating scheme, the beneficiary of the member can simply get or claim cash from FICCO. Except pag yung member may layaway plan pa sa MSCF. With regards to yung last question, yung update with the MSCF case, I will ask Attorney Bakal to answer.
Thank you, Director Chito. For the view of the legal department of FICCO, we have to take this action considering that if we would not file this case, the funds will definitely be depleted already. FICCO can no longer recover its investment, so that's why we have to file the case now. And then for the case update, it is still under it is still in its pre-trial stage. So with that, I can no longer comment further considering the sub judice rule. But that's the status of the case right now.
Thank you very much, Attorney. I think Mr. Daba can further elaborate para masabtan, no? Masyado nating para maintindihan natin kung ano nangyayari.
Actually, sa one CISP where I sit in the board, ang chair si Father Anton Pascual had several meetings with MECF to come up with a compromise. Right now, actually, ang gusto mo withdraw diya is not only FICCO, but even one CISP. No? So, ang pinakadako dek investment sa MECF is FICCO. Second, actually, is one CISP. And then, SUCO is also a big investor. These three cooperatives actually wanted to withdraw. Hindi na sila kasabot, hindi nila maintindihan the way it's being run. So, they wanted to withdraw their investment. But definitely, they will not be able to pay us. We have not yet received any payment from them. No? So that's why there is the case. In order that we can retrieve back the property in Valencia, which was actually originally owned by FICCO. But considering the many effort of Father Anton Pascual, he even created a working group to negotiate with them. I think they have 4 or 5 meetings. Wala gyud headway. Ang demand lugar ni Father Anton is include in the board FICCO, one CISP, and even SUCO. Kaya mo maning top 3 kay investors. Pero they did not agree to it. So they keep on insisting one member, one vote. If that is the case, we'll not be able to win. In fact, they disqualified our representative last year. No, they disqualified. We are the biggest investor, but they disqualified. That's why we have that case. I think we can handily win that case, except na kabalo na ka sa atong our justice system is just quite slow. But one mandate given actually to me by Father Anton is, let's create a national federation, not just a Mindanao something base. So they will join, the cooperatives in Luzon will join. So we can easily replicate that, no? And if we can get back that property in Valencia, then that will be our starting point for this national federation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So we still have questions? 2 or last 2? Napa? Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I am Fermin Villaflores, Puerto Branch EIC member. I have 2 concerns. Ang first na akong concern is about cooperative principle number 3, that on non-discrimination, that the cooperative should not take sides in any of the issues like politics, race, and religion. So the question is, why is it that in the last educational forum in 2021, we still have to introduce the candidates for the election this coming May? So that is my first concern. My second concern is, being a first-timer of Audit and Inventory Committee of Puerto, and we were affected by this pandemic, it shows that we have encountered a lot of non-payment of our loans. And we come across with a property that is supposed to be foreclosed in 2015. And there was no status up to that, what happened to that property. So we asked the branch manager and also take some records, and we send letter to the legal counsel, because we found out that there was already a payment made to file that case, but until now, there was no action because there was no report that was made monthly. And we need to ask the council that he should be, based on the contract, that he should make a monthly report as well as discuss with the branch. And also, our members, in case we have some issues regarding legal concerns, the council should be near the branches so that it is easy for us to discuss. So that is my question, that my recommendation that if possible, we are going to change the legal counsel that is near, because just like what happened to the 2015 property that we heard already a bridge was constructed, but until now, there was no action as to...
Thank you very much, sir.
property office.
Taruho, no, let's be clear. Your first question is, tubag na to, para ating mabigyan ng, we can answer the question. Huh? So what your first question is, Madam Lawrence.
Maayong buntag kanatong tanan. Good morning. Magandang umaga. First, himuon nato ang usa ka statement very clearly. FICCO still remains non-partisan. We haven't strayed from our principle of not siding with anyone. Rest assured, everyone, regardless of your stand, regardless of your choice of candidates, FICCO will not stand in your way. You can continue, you can decide kinsa imong pilion, kinsa inyong mga kandidato. FICCO will not be a kanang ingon nato bar. We will not put a bar kung unsa ang inyong decision. You have the right to vote. You have the right to make your own choice. FICCO will not stand in your way. We still remain non-partisan. Ang atong ginahimo lang is we try to educate our voters. Make all their options clear. In the end, ang inyong halang yung buhaton is to make your choice. It will be between you and your conscience and of course, God. Dili manghilabot ang FICCO.
So thank you very much, Madam Lawrence, no, for your very clear, klaro na stand sa FICCO. So FICCO is apolitical, dili siya partisan. So it is kita, no, individually naa magitay choices. Okay? So thank you very much. Question, please. Okay, naapaday siya second question. Di magunato maklaro.
Yes,
Just the
Director,
question.
I will just rephrase his second question with regards to the legal counsel or legal advisor. If it is possible that there must be a change in the legal counsel near the office and to submit a monthly report so that the branches will be apprised on the happenings of the legal cases or updates, especially on loans and any properties that have not yet acted upon by the legal.
Thank you for that question, sir. First of all, regarding with the account that was not acted upon by the legal counsel, for the concrete example that you gave, the foreclosure which was still enacted since 2015. So we require all the branches to submit their legal report 1 week before the board meeting. And so far, in the case of Puerto Branch, it has not been reported to us that there is a problem, especially with that transaction. But we will look into it. Then, regarding the change of legal counsel, we always give the branch manager the prerogative to select their legal retainer. As a matter of fact, all the legal retainers have in their contract pre-termination clause, so that the manager has discretion to change the legal counsel. So we leave it to the branch because it is the branch manager who knows the area, for example, they would just report that they are not satisfied with their current legal counsel, they can select their own, and we will just recommend it to the board. So does that answer your question, sir? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Attorney. Last two questions. Duha na lang, no? So, unahon nato si ang duol-duol. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I am Esperanza Quiroy from Villanueva Branch. Okay, my question, this is in regards sa HMO programs. Sir and ma'am, regarding the, why is it double premium ang premium sa HMO sa atong mga senior citizen? And number two, do we have premiums offered sa mga overage member? And number three, do we also have health insurance for our mga babae na pregnant, maternity and paternity? Why na-ask ko to? Kasi minsan during our interview, kasi I am a pre-com in Villanueva, one loan applicant na interview namin, they asked me about the maternity insurance. So it is the time to express, to ask these questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Kinsay mutubag diha. Sige, ako na lang sa una. Ikaw, ma'am. Okay.
Actually, good morning, ma'am. Thank you for asking. That premium for our aged members is actually may kamahalan because they are no longer insurable. So no other insurance company would ever accept them if ever they are going to apply for insurance. So it just happened that we have a partner insurance with one CISP. We negotiated with CISP, FICCO negotiated with CISP so that they can still be accommodated. But normally when you age 60, no insurance company will allow you to be insured anymore. So that is the price of that we are haggling with CISP. Another thing on maternity benefits for as of now we have none, but we're still in the process of negotiating with one CISP if they can accommodate FICCO members to enjoy this benefit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. No? Okay, hopefully na-answeran atong question. So na additional si Ma'am Cecil. Yes, kadit announce sa Ma'am Cecil. Then you. Ayun.
Okay, salamat Chairman Moki. Sa pagkakaroon, we already have the so-called YES program, YES plan sa 1CISP nga gadawata og insurance coverage. We already have a new product with 1CISP, the so-called YES program. This is the young and elderly coverage for, this covers from ages 18 to 99 years old. So all of those members, overage members of FICCO can be covered, but given medyo mataas na yung mga edad natin, then it follows that the corresponding premium as you age will also increases. So that's normal kasi if we are on the higher age na, yung risk din natin, 'di ba? So malapit na din. So kaya especially ang ating YES program is also may mga riders din siya. Mayroon siyang medical assistance and ambulance assistance. So in fact, this is one of the product also that we would like to suggest for FICCO to cover for our elderly kasi we have volunteers and some of our volunteers are overage. So mas mabuti nga we can also provide this to our members. And then we also have, I just don't have the details on our co-op for her. We will just present it to FICCO para po si FICCO can also study this program plan para din ma-propose for our members. So we are continuously developing plans for our members and up with plans kung saan po tayo makakatulong sa ating mga members. Yun po ang ating tututukan. And then I just would like to take this opportunity na lang din, Sir Moki. Mayroon kasi akong nakuhang comment doon din sa Facebook Live which was forwarded to me. Siguro this was the comment kanina when I speak about the non-life. Nakalagay dito, I'm Charlie Arguta from Lapu-Lapu branch. It's true that our rate is much higher than the other insurance companies. What I know was the rate can be adjusted depending on client property situation and car model or type. Hope our premium can be lower and our claim services will be improved just like other companies. So definitely, yesterday I had a discussion with CEO Igay. Yes, we can make certain adjustments of the premium. So mag-usap lang din kami with our insurance manager. Ang gusto ko lang, what I just would like to air out to all our members, since FICCO is the major investor and patronizer of one CISP, I would like also to appeal to our General Assembly that we should also patronize the services being provided, the plans and the insurance services and all other services being provided by FICCO for that matter, instead of patronizing the insurance providers or the HMO providers which are private. Bakit po? Because whatever income that we will derive from this, FICCO being one of the major investor of one CISP, kung ano po yung income na ma-generate ni one CISP, definitely si FICCO will have a bigger share of it. Depends on his contribution, and whatever is the earnings that will be derived by FICCO will be added back to our dividends and patronage refund. Kaya po, if we will patronize the private insurance providers or private HMOs, it's only the owners of these private HMOs ang binigyan natin ng income. So instead, kung doon tayo magpatronize kay one CISP or kay Co-op Health, kung ano po yung kita ni CISP at ni Co-op Health, lahat po tayong mga members maka-benefit on its earnings, not only on the services that we will generate. Then as far as services is concerned, yes, we admit that as of this time, we really have a challenge in processing, especially on the claims. This is, I would like also to appeal to our general membership na sana po mabigyan din kami ng a bit patience in the processing of the claims, lalo na ngayon wherein we receive huge claims from our non-life, especially the Typhoon Odette that we experienced last December. And not only that, our claims experience for our life operations in 2021 has more than doubled the claims of 2020. So we would like to appeal for your indulgence and a little patience from us. But as far as our office is concerned, we are really trying our best na we would be able to update the claims. And in fact, with the CDO branch, I had a meeting also with the staff. We assured na by this month of March, ma-update na po lahat ng claims of 2021 and the January. And then moving forward, we hope nga updated na din. Sana nga lang wala na ding masyadong claims na darating this year. Hopefully na hindi na katulad nung 2021 na really the claims has been more than double of the previous years. So let's just continue also to pray na sana tuloy-tuloy po ang magandang takbo ng ating co-op insurance at sa ating co-op health. Para din po tayo na mga members ni FICCO maka-benefit po dito. Yun lang po and thank you po.
Thank you very much, Madam Cecil. Then may additional, short na additional si Ma'am Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is in addition to the query of the maternity insurance. So yes, it's true we don't have maternity insurance, but just recently we conducted a survey on the FICCO different branches. But sad to say that only 300 lang ang nasagot na gustong mag-avail ng maternity insurance. But when we had a meeting with the co-op health, will be dapat 10,000 needed target clients in order for them to create the maternity insurance. So siguro maybe the FICCO branches or the MBA insurance or personnel, INDB personnel will conduct another survey so we can hit the target to the 10,000 beneficiaries, the women beneficiaries for this maternity insurance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Rose. So all the single ladies na nasa FICCO, you have to get married so that we will hit the 10,000 requirement of one CISP. Okay? Yes, last one question. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mrs. Teresa Yap of Puerto Branch. My concern po, sir and ma'am, is about the claims of our insurances. So it is said that if all the documents are complete, the processing would only take about 10 days. But there are some cases wherein it's more than 10 days or even it takes about a month before the release of the insurance claim. So that is one of the most of the complaints of our members who claims for insurances. So what would be the possible sum of the problems about this, sir? Thank you.
Okay, so anyone who can give us the straight answer? Ma'am Susan, okay.
Good morning once again. I believe it was already stated by Ma'am Cici Laguna, our representative to one CISP, earlier that we have problems and travel restrictions. So sending of documents took time. So they were asking for a bit of patience from us due to these restrictions. Napaki-worst scenario, whenever their office is quarantined, their personnel are quarantined due to COVID, surely nobody will cater the documents that will be forwarded to them. So and then with the skeletal work arrangement, so that also added to the delay of the processing. So if Ma'am Cecil has something to add more, we can hear from her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we still have a very short lang, ma'am. Okay, we'll
Yes.
give you 30 seconds.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Ma'am Susan. Dagang salamat. As what I have said a while ago, there is a bit delayed yun in the processing of claims given nga sobrang dami yung dumating na claims sa amin and then with the same number of manpower we have. But rest assured nga, we are really trying our best this time. We requested somebody from the head office to assist us in the branch processing para lang po makatulong. So we hope nga by end of the month, we can update na the claims po. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Cecil. So at this juncture, no, we will just we still have one. Sandali, yeah, just we will just before I will give the floor to our chairman Luis Chito Yap. We will give 30 seconds or 1 minute siguro, sir, na point na magoy request ang atong kauban sa audit no merong request to give some words. So sir, yeah, go ahead.
Good morning again. Kini atong mga kapatid, di mo mawadang problema, naganay problema permi. Pero sa ako karon, testimony lang. Before ko mag-testimony, I thank the FICCO management for accepting me as chairman of the auditing committee volunteers and as the privilege to attend the monthly BOD Board of Directors meeting. Before I became a volunteer, my honest assessment about FICCO, daghan ko kabalaka. Dagang kumadunggang nga hakaka. Dahil dagang mga what ifs nga kinalagan, sir. Siguro some FICCO member have the same kabalaka. Nadunggang hakaka o dagang what if. For the fact that dagang nagsarang ang gagmay nga bangko, dagang mga co-op nga nakaproblema. Nagay bangko nga dako nga nagsara. Siguro nakabalaw na mo. Atong nasa slogan nga, para nakasandal sa pader. Manila Bank, pero wala. Tumbag yapon sila. Sa sige na ko attend of board of directors meeting, akong problema, akong kabalakan na sulbad. Because I found out that FICCO is very stable, cooperative. And I'm proud to tell all FICCO members that FICCO is a very stable, cooperative, and give them assurance. And by God's grace, atong kabalaka, o hakaka na dunggan, o what ifs, dili may tabo sa FICCO. Because FICCO management has managed the cooperative professionally and efficiently. And each year, FICCO is growing stronger and stronger. And lastly, I give thanks to our energetic and hardworking board chairman, board of directors, the management, the branch managers and their personnel for managing FICCO professionally and efficiently. I give thanks for your hard work. Stay safe and God bless. Di na lang problema tanan.
Thank you very much, sir, for that very good, very inspiring message para sa atong kooperatiba or para sa ating kooperatiba. So our next agenda will be, we will give time for Mr. Chairman Cheto Yap to give us the instructions on how the dividend and patronage refund are to be disbursed. Sir, go ahead.
FICCO members, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The dividend and the patronage refund for the year 2021 with a dividend rate of 6.2% and a patronage refund of 12.4% respectively will be distributed to your respective branches within the period from March 14 to March 31, 2022 from 8:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon. So please visit your branch starting this Monday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Chairman Cheto. So, since we have no more other matters to take up, and the other matters from our branches who are joining us online, your advice to submit PIN at your branches. So, Director Verona to lead us the closing prayer for this session.
Okay, let's put ourselves in the holy presence of our God. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Thank God for the success of our General Assembly, the 67th General Assembly. So as we depart, be with us always, Lord. Keep us safe as we are going on our ways. This we ask in mighty name of Jesus. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
The first session of the 67th Annual General Assembly of FICCO is hereby recessed.